Hello, my good people of the internet. I'm Izzy, and I'm bringing to you the good and the bad and the bittersweet news in the world of gaming and anime. First off, gaming, because, why not? Some time back, we lost Masayuki Uemura, who was the creator of the NES and the SNES. He died at 78. Now, before I actually get into this, or rather, let me just read the article in question, and then I'll build up my thoughts from there. Uemura held a position at Ritsumeikan University until his death. The lead architect of the Nintendo Entertainment System and the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, Masayuki Uemura, has died. The Ritsumeikan Center for Game Studies at Ritsumeikan University announced Uemura's death on Thursday, saying he died December 6th at the age of 78. Uemura first joined Nintendo in 1972 and worked with the company to build light gun games, excuse me, helping to create the predecessor to Duck Hunt. After moving to Nintendo's new R&D2 team, he headed up the squad's home console initiative, a mandate from then-president Hiroshi Yamauchi. Uemura began development on the Famicom in 1981, in an attempt to bring the arcade to players' living rooms. The R&D2 launched the Famicom in 83, and Uemura's team built its successor, the Super Nintendo, for its 1990 release. Before retiring in 2004, he also helped build games like Ice Climber, Clu Clu Land, soccer, baseball, and golf. While he remained a research and development advisor in retirement, he served as professor at Ritsumeikan University in Kyoto, Japan, teaching video game development to a new generation of creatives. Fans and developers such as Smash Bros. Creator Masahiro Sakurai are mourning his loss on Twitter. Or they had mourned his loss on Twitter. So what can I say about that? Well, let's see. For those of us who grew up with the Nintendo Entertainment System, with being the hood down and the top loader, what you're seeing here is the hood down, and the Super Nintendo was a top loader. What you're seeing is the first Nintendo Entertainment System, which was a hood down. Then the Nintendo 2 was a top loader, just like the Super Nintendo. Now, as someone who grew up in the 80s, and I grew up around, say, the Atari, I could say, yeah, I've been there around the park. I mean, yeah, the Atari, the Commodore 64. Yeah, Texas Instruments, for those who don't remember Texas Instruments, you had Apple II, and then you had Nintendo, then Sega Master System, and Mark II, and whatever else that Sega was working on back then. And then going on, you had Sega and Nintendo button heads, because it's more like, whatever you can do, I can do better. I don't think anybody else online actually knows about this. And if they did, well, I would say, and on this video, we as gamers should mourn the loss of this person, because he practically gave us the Nintendo. He practically gave us Nintendo the way it was, and the way we grew up around it. Truly, I mean, you really think about it. He really did just give us such a great legacy. I mean, I grew up with the OG system, with Rob the Robot, the light gun, before the action set. I had the original core system. And then, the Super Nintendo came later, but I had the Genesis before I had the Super Nintendo. But you know what? I wasn't one of those kind of kids who was around, which is better. I'm like, I really can't say. I had both. I had both the Game Boy and the Game Gear. So one was better on the eyes. The other, you had to squint. It's like you had spinach green versus color. You had spinach green Game Boy versus the battery sucking machine, the battery sucking monster that was the Game Gear, versus the friend till the end road trip companion, the Game Boy. I mean, both used up batteries. You had 4 for the Game Boy, 6 for the Game Gear, but the Game Boy had much more staying power than, say, the Game Gear. The many times that I went traveling across, across to see family in Louisiana, my road dog was the Nintendo Entertainment System, because it was me and my cousin. We would end up playing Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. That was our go-to game. We played Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, and we would get up to Fat Cat and lose to him. Because of Fat Cat's unusual hitbox, that's the reason why we lost. Is like that little tiny bit of hitbox. That's just all sorts of messed up. I don't have a favorite arc. I don't fucking care about your favorite arcs. Go away. Anyway. The thing I found interesting about that is my life grew up around basically Nintendo and Sega. And for what it was worth, it just basically says, oh, hey. That was basically my childhood. I mean, whenever I went on vacation with family, namely my mom, I usually took my Nintendo, my Sega Saturn, or Sega Genesis, either one, or my Super Nintendo. I took all 4 just in case, just say we have choices. So I took all 4 of those systems, or maybe 3, or whatever that could hold, as long as it stayed within the realm of weight, proper weight. I would carry those 2 systems. I would carry either 2 or 4 systems with me to Louisiana, and basically whenever my cousin came over, that's what we hop on, and we play it for hours. And I think the last time we actually ever saw each other, the last console we ever played on was the Sega Saturn, and we were playing Guardian Heroes. So for those who don't know, you know now. The man who created the NES and SNES, much respect. much respect. And I've been meaning to make a video of the following of the following articles in question for quite a while, but I've been so busy with other stuff and mostly trying to get rid of all my Let's Plays that I've been doing quite recently. So, press F for respect. For me, Konami code. Alright, so we have the bad. Now let us focus on the good. Which I could say is sort of good and sort of bad in a way, but recently, as most of us who are anime fans well known, Cowboy Bebop, the Netflix version of Cowboy Bebop, as I like to call it, Cowboy Bebop, is dead after a single season. And thank God, because my God, I'm sick and tired of people just saying, well, I like it. I'm like, no, if you haven't seen the original, don't say you don't get on the bandwagon saying you like it. Watch the original first, then you watch how they did live action, then come back to us. Okay. What's bad about this is the creator and writer of these two shows, or rather these 3 series, Cowboy Bebop, Tokyo Godfather's writer and creator of Wolf's Rain, Keiko Nobumoto, passed away. She was 57 years old. She was a script writer for Macross Plus, and she was battling esophageal cancer. Anime writer Daisato reported on Friday that she passed away December 1st after a battle with esophageal cancer. She was 57. Her family held a private service on December 4th, and director Shinichiro Watanabe, Cowboy Bebop, confirmed her passing to Sato. She was born in Hokkaido on March 13, 1964. Debuted as a scriptwriter by winning the 3rd Fuji TV Young Scenario Grand Prix in 1989, and eventually wrote for live-action, animation, and stage productions. She was the original creator of Wolf's Rain. Oversaw the series scripts for Cowboy Bebop and Wolf's Rain, and wrote the screenplays for Cowboy Bebop Knocking on Heaven's Door. That's what it's really called, the movie. Cowboy Bebop Knocking on Heaven's Door. And both the original video, anime, and movie editions of Macross Plus. She collaborated with Satoshi Kon, who also passed away, on Tokyo Godfathers. She also contributed scripts for Space Dandy and Samurai Champloo. And yes, if you're wondering, Tokyo Godfathers is a great anime movie, especially around this time of year, because it is a Christmas movie. It is a funny Christmas movie. I've seen it at least twice when I feel need to have a good snicker, because it really is just, it is just so hilariously touching and crazy at the same time. But I say it's a good thing because with the downfall of Cowboy Bebop, it just basically just says, you know what? If she was still alive, that alone might have killed her. Saying that what she worked on, along with so many other people, she was just I would probably understand. She would have screamed, or she would have just went full on Xena on Hollywood. I'm pretty sure about that. On Hollywood, on Netflix. I mean, the one thing you should never do is, and this is key to anything, if you're gonna make a live action adaptation of anything, my God, just do the following: go by the source. There are a few anime turned live action movies that actually stayed with the source. I would say that Speed Racer and Alita Battle Angel, otherwise known as Gundam, basically kind of stayed within the source. I don't know about any other anime turned live action stayed on the path of that within the source. But that was the one thing that most people should never ever do, especially because anime is such. It's very touchy for some, and to others, that is a life. And if you mess with it in some way, they're going to let you know. So, at least I've seen Cowboy Bebop, the animation. It is worth watching. Just to get that nasty taste out your mouth, go watch the anime. It doesn't matter if you're going to watch it in English subs or you watch it in dub. It doesn't matter. You watch that. And by the way, Wolf's Rain? That's done by Yoshiyuki Tomino. Remember Yoshiyuki Tomino? The guy who basically kills off anything that just doesn't have the right feel? Yeah, that's what happened to Wolf's Rain. This next and last article that I'm about to present is rather bittersweet. Because we're talking about a very well-known franchise in anime and one of its creators. I mean, not the creators, but one of its key notable people passed away recently as well. And that's Joji Yanami. You know him better as Kaio, Dr. Bree, Babidi, and the narrator in the Dragon Ball franchise. He passed away a few days ago. This was posted on the 14th this week. Even though they posted it, but it happened about a few weeks past. Aoni Production announced on Tuesday that voice actor Joji Yanami passed away on December 3rd, 10:59 p.m. Japan Standard Time. A funeral was held for family members. The production expressed gratitude for Yanami's kindness. He was 90. He was born August 31st, 1931. It's part of RKB Mainichi Broadcasting and Tokyo Actors Consumer Cooperative Society before joining Aoni Production. Yanami played both Kaio, or North Kaio, and the narrator in Dragon Ball. in Dragon Ball. Period. He was there in Dragon Ball Z and GT. So he was all in Dragon Ball as well as Super. He also played as Dr. Bree and Babidi in the franchise. He went through medical treatment in 2015. Toei replaced Yanami's roles in Dragon Ball Super during that time. He also voiced Itan Momen in Gegege no Kitaro, Totosai in Inuyasha, Boyaki in Yataman, Chutaban in Kyojin no Hoshi, Genai in Digimon, Ganfall in One Piece, and Professor Genosuke Yumi in Mazinger Z. All I have to say is that it leads me to wonder the future of Dragon Ball, because guess who might be next on that list? And when it happens, the whole anime world is going to grow silent. And let me tell you about something about voice actors. Plenty have come and gone. Because the one thing about being a voice actor is that your voice, you have to take care of your voice. So, in turn, what you have to do is take care of your body. And so many people don't realize that the body is the most important part of being a voice actor. You have to take really good care of your body. You gotta make sure that you're in the right environment. That means no matter where you are, as long as your body is well taken care of, it has to stay in some form of tip-top condition. I say some form because not everybody has, an average stamina, but they have to be like good and ready to go. If not at their best, at least to where it's doable to say, oh, I can perform. Regardless of how I feel, I can perform. I can give you my personal best. Even if I'm not at my best, I'm gonna give my best regardless. The best I can give. And I can say the same thing as being a Let's Player. So, to me, it's not about the views. If I get one or three views or something like that, it's the same thing if I'm streaming something. If I get 3 or so people watching my stuff, okay, great, wonderful. But the one thing I'm doing is I'm giving the best I can do. So, in this sense, I'd say the same thing can be said here. Because if you're in the industry, especially when you're on a deadline, many who has been in this industry for a very long time, be it in, say, over here stateside or in Japan or wherever they plan to dub the series somewhere in the world in their own native language. That's the one thing that everybody has to understand. They have to take good care of themselves. They have to be ready to go. They have to be, taken care of. They have to make sure that they have to do that. Excuse me. They have to basically do what they have to do in order to basically. I'm sorry, I gotta get it out. Shit. So if anybody just says, "Why did you do?" It's because first off, they had to get it out. Long day. Long day because I had basically a lot happening. Anyway, that's for another video. But as I was saying, in regards to all these sudden deaths, these are like, this doesn't even get talked about. This doesn't even gets passed around because, oh, nobody watches anime. Nobody actually knows about, the pioneers of video games. It's like nobody really knows about the Super Nintendo or the SNES. Nobody knows about the Game Gear, the Game Boy, the Sega Genesis, aka Mega Drive, Sega CD, aka the Mega CD, the 32X, otherwise known as the Neptune. Not many people know about, these things that basically makes our little universe we call, nerddom. The little things like that. The people behind the curtain, as it were. The people behind the curtain, nobody knows about that, but they should know about it. It's about the same here. This guy, who we've been hearing for years and years and years, especially if you've been listening to the original over the dub version, you would have never known this guy passed away. The same thing with Keiko Nobumoto. Nobody knew she was battling cancer, but she was still delivering what needs to be done. Okay, here's what I gotta do. I gotta make the script. I gotta make sure that everything is running smoothly and everything like that. Regardless, it's like, the very least you could do is like, for a moment, next time you're watching your anime, or next time you're playing your video games, take a moment. Take a moment to realize that many people have not only lived and breathed and worked for the lifestyle that we're making a pretty penny off of. We don't take a moment to just say, you know what? I'm laying my controller down just for a moment and bow my head and say thank you for it. Because out of the many people that actually put video games, anime, comic books, I should say, good comic books before they turn whatever the hell they turned into now. I never forget where it all came from, which is a good thing. I don't forget where it all came from. So no matter what the media, you always got to take a step back and just say thank you. Just out of whatever you're doing in a moment's time, just say thank you. Be grateful that, this is there for us. What they did for us, they made for plenty of generations to enjoy for a very, very long time. And that's past our generation and for the generations to come. People can bitch and whine about the console wars and all that. So me, I'm not one of those people who actually give a damn about the console wars or anime wars or whatnot. It's like, what's your favorite? No, I don't have time for that mess. So if you really want to know what kind of anime I watch old school stuff. I have I have okay feelings toward basically the modern, but not so much. You know, I'll give it a nice run through, and it keeps my attention. You know, you'll hear about it. Otherwise, nah. I come from a time that basically says, "Hey, I like some good storytelling in my book." Okay. Whenever I buy something, I want to read it for all it's worth. I want to have my nose just stuck into it for, say, 2 or 3 hours, and make people wonder, what's he doing over there? But that's just me. Anyway, if there are any more good news coming out, yeah, there are some good news coming out, but for that, I had to say that'll be saved for next time. Like I said, I got another video I'm going to make, and it's about what I've been going through and what's coming up for the channel. Otherwise, when that is, that'll probably be up this weekend. As well as this will be up sometime today. Don't know when, but it'll be up today. That's for certain. And I will have the links in below so you can check them out for yourself. And, you know, have your own take on it. Be my guest. So until next of whatever I plan to do, this is Izzy, and I'll see you next time.